What's up, everyone? Welcome to Level 7. It's time for another episode of the Agents of Fandom podcast. I'm your host, TJ Zwarich. We have a jam-packed week. We are here now because we finally have the debut trailer for Fantastic Four First Steps. We're going to be back tomorrow night talking episodes 3, 4, and 5 of your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. We're going to be back on Thursday talking the first 2 episodes, the premiere of season 3 of Invincible. And hell, we'll be back on Friday to talk some Severance episode 4. We'll be back on Saturday for the Comic Corner. We got you covered all week long. Thank you so much for joining us, everybody. Thank you for those who are joining us live. Smash the like button. Please help us build this community. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any of our great shows upcoming. And subscribe so that you don't miss out either. We got great interviews dropping as well. You can already find my interview with Captain America Brave New World director Julius Ona up on the Agents of Fandom YouTube page, and I have one coming as well with Robert Kirkman and Simon Rasiopa, the creator and showrunner for Invincible, joining me to break down Fantastic Four First Steps, the new trailer. We got my good friend and co-host Damon Gray. How you doing today, Damon?
I'm doing fantastic, TJ. Let me say that again. I'm doing fantastic.
Say that again. You already did it, but we had to get as many references to the bad version of this movie as we could because the good one is finally coming. It's finally here, and we get our first minute 38 look at this series. We got the time since this probably won't be a very long show. And Damon, I feel like I haven't talked to you that much lately because we haven't been playing as much Marvel Rivals. You've been busy. You've made most of the shows, but I still feel like I've barely seen you. What you been watching?
Oh man, it's not so much what I've been watching, it's what I've been reading. And I've been maining Magic a lot in Marvel Rivals. It's been my project to get very good at that character in a meta where it is very hard to be very good at that character. And in the process of it, I was like, which character? I mean, I'm really not much of an X-Men reader, so I've gone all the way back to catch up on Magic's comic history. And golly, TJ, what a convoluted, complicated history Ileana Rasputin has. And look, I am the comics guy, but I've always said X-Men and the mutants have always been a little bit of a weak spot. So this has actually been nice. It's kind of pushed me to go into that corner of the Marvel Universe I'm really not all that into, but I get it, guys. I get it. I've been enjoying it.
Hell yeah, I love to hear it. For me, I've been doing my full Defenderverse rewatch, and so we've been doing it in watch order. And we're now currently just about finished season 2 of Luke Cage. I'm very excited to be back to Daredevil after that. We're gonna watch The Punisher season 2 after that. We are gonna skip Jessica Jones season 3 just because, I love season 1 of that show. Season 2, it's fine. Season 3 goes downhill pretty hard. I have seen the first 2 episodes of Paradise on Disney Plus. And I have seen the first 6 episodes of Invincible season 3 as well. You can find my review for that up on agentsofandom.com. Kind of a weird, chaotic, messy start to the season for me. But then when it gets in gear and when it finds its footing, Invincible is really one of the best comic book shows out there. And it's great to see them going in full force after. For me, it was a bit of a weak start. And then it really gets going. And Invincible is back. And we'll be, like I said, every Thursday, we'll have the Beyond Invincible show. Myself, Sean from Metalcore Nerds, Fat Thor, a.k.a. TJ Pistilli from the Comic Corner podcast, will be hosting that one as well. So make sure you tune in to talk some Invincible. But we're here to talk about Fantastic Four First Steps, Damon. And we've been waiting for this trailer for a while. First question. How much did this raise your excitement level for the movie?
A little bit. I mean, I'm upbeat, and that's more like because I was already pretty excited for this movie. So it's hard to really raise it more. But there's a few scenes in here in particular I'm like, yeah, that got me. Unfortunately, like the posters afterwards soured a lot of that, so I'm in a little bit of a weird space with this. But the movie itself looks
Dive
solid.
into it.
Look, I mean, this is not allegedly the first time. I mean, not even allegedly, because we already knew Marvel used AI in the Secret Invasion open, which we all hated, and then the show ended up being. And now here, I mean, a lot of these posters they were giving AI, and I'm like, I don't know. And then someone brought up like above the woman who's holding the camera, like the hand, it only has 3 fingers and a thumb. I'm hoping it's not AI, but if it looks like a duck and sounds like a duck, TJ, I don't know. It gave me some worries. Not so much with the movie itself, but it's like you have an entire marketing department and like all these Marvel comic artists at your disposal. You have Alex Ross at your disposal. Just like use it. It's crazy.
Yeah, I agree. I hope we find out that it just looks wonky for a specific reason and it isn't AI, but I agree with you. That does kind of appear to be looking like it's an AI one, but I agree. I am disappointed with that, but from the trailer itself, I'm actually with you. It got me a little bit more excited for the movie, but not that much more because I already was really excited for the movie like you. And it didn't, I was expecting, the kind of retro vibes for it. And that's exactly what we got. And so it just continued me on the excitement path I was already on, as opposed to raising it a ton. But we got Ryan reflects in chat. He says it raised it to 14 out of 10. We got Emma in chat as well. If you're in chat, say what's up, say hello, drop your theories from the trailer. Let us know. Did this episode trailer raise your excitement level for Fantastic Four First Steps? We're gonna go through some Easter eggs, some parts of some stills from this trailer that get us excited. But before we even do that, Damon, people forget because the MCU has been around for a long time now. But the Avengers were not the top tier team at Marvel.
Yeah.
When we were growing up, nobody gave a damn. Some people gave a damn. Some people absolutely gave a damn. But mainstream wise, not that many people gave a damn about the Avengers. Iron Man, Thor, even Captain America.
Especially Captain America.
Not big name heroes in the Marvel universe. It's Spider-Man. It was the X-Men. Those are your 2 top tier. Then after that, it was probably the Fantastic Four, Marvel's first family.
Yeah.
As a comic book reader, why are you excited about this team finally joining the MCU? How do you feel about the first look of the cast? Who are Marvel's first family?
Oh, whoa, that's a throw that at me. I mean, look, it's the Fantastic Four. I don't think you need to ask me who the Fantastic Four is. And that is part of the reason why I'm excited for this movie, because we're not getting the full origin story. We know the origin story. Scientists, astronauts thrown into space, cosmic rays, abilities change, stretchy man, visible woman, right? The Thing. We know the story. And that's what I'm most excited about with this movie, is that we don't get to repeat all of that. Historically, yes, they have been Marvel's most beloved outside of historically, way back before there was Spider-Man, before the X-Men became big, it was the Fantastic Four, right? That was the thing that really kick-started what Marvel Comics is today. They are the first family. And I think people are most excited for this movie is because we've had 2/3 iterations, if you include the sequel prior to this, that at best, the first one is like, okay. And then
it's very good for a 2000s movie.
Right. Like at best, it's okay. And then we don't talk about Fan Force Stick, right? That one was so bad. There's a reason Marvel Studios has the rights to it again.
It really was. That is, to be clear, I've gone out of my way to not see any Sony Universe Marvel movies outside of Venom. So I have not seen Morbius. I have not seen Madam Web. I have not seen Craven. So with that being said, that fan four stick, Fantastic Four with Miles Teller and Michael B. Jordan. As much as we love Michael B. Jordan here at the Agents of Fandom, make sure you check out our coverage for the upcoming Sinners movie from Ryan Cortero. That is the worst superhero movie I've ever seen. Worse than
Howard the Duck, though.
I haven't seen Howard the Duck.
Don't.
I haven't seen Howard the Duck. But that is the worst Marvel movie I've ever seen. I'm really excited to get the Fantastic Four because I grew up with their cartoon, 2 different iterations of their cartoons. I grew up seeing them in the in Spider-Man the Animated Series when they do the Secret War arc, teaming up with them. I've always loved this team. Johnny Storm has always been one of my favorite Marvel characters. I love his friendship with Spider-Man, who is, of course, my favorite. And I love Sue Storm, the Invisible Woman. I love the Storms. Ben Grimm, Mr. Fantastic. Look, I like them. They're great. But the Storms are 2 of my favorite characters in all of Marvel. So I can't wait to get both of them in this movie. It seems to be, we got a rumor a long time ago that they were looking to build this cast around Sue Storm.
Yeah.
And we see in the trailer now that Vanessa Kirby Sue Storm kind of seems as though if there will be a lead, it seems as though it's going to be her. If we got a lead in the first Fantastic Four movies, it was definitely Mr. Fantastic. It was definitely Reed Richards. In this one, it seems as though it's going to be Sue Storm. And I think that's a good play because Vanessa Kirby is an incredible actor. I love anything I see Vanessa Kirby in, whether it's Mission Impossible, whether it's Hobbs and Shaw in the Fantastic Four series. It's her Fantastic Four. Fast and the Furious series. I love me some Vanessa Kirby. And so I think this is a smart move to center around her as an actor and around Sue, who's probably, I think, the most compelling and clear, without a doubt, strong characters among the Fantastic Four.
Oh, she's the glue. She holds them all together. And that goes into a little bit of my theory within this movie about what the actual plot is. Because when you go into the trailer, right, we haven't really started talking about the trailer, but if you go into the trailer, we really don't get too much plot. And that's exactly what a teaser's trailer is supposed to do. So I'm really excited to see what this movie is. My thought process with how the trailer starts off, and it's like, yeah, this is the Baxter Building. It almost seems like they're bringing some sort of reporter into their house into the Baxter Building to be like, yep, this is our life, and a little sterile, a little performative. But I feel like that's almost a point, because my theory with this movie is that we already know the origin and all that stuff. Seems like this is years later into the story, that maybe it's possible like the Fantastic Four, as beloved as they are within society, have started growing apart a little bit, and maybe we'll finally have to get to a threat that puts them all together. And go back to Sue Storm. She's the glue. She brings everyone together. So she is the main character of it all. She is the heartbeat of the Fantastic Four. She's the one that has to bring everyone back in. I think that would be a pretty interesting play on the story.
I like it. And you referenced the story there, and the part that I thought was odd is it kind of seemed like Reed was alluding to, we've already done this space trip once. Now we got to go back. We got to go back to space. And that was something I found pretty interesting, because look, I'm so happy we're not getting the origin. We better not get just a second version of the origin. But no, I don't think that's what they're doing. But that did throw me off a little bit. Why are they out there going back here? What do you think? What did you think of? Look, we absolutely love Pedro Pascal. What do we think of his Reed Richards, though? I kind of thought we were just gonna get like the normal Pedro without an normal Pedro voice for Reed, but it's definitely higher and sounds a little more Reed than his typical voice.
Yeah, I mean, you have to be a little bit of Reed. You can't just be yourself throughout the whole movie, especially when you're Pedro Pascal, who is like in quote unquote everything these days. You can't just be another version of Pedro Pascal. So I thought his read's okay. Like, it's hard to tell. It was a minute and 38-second teaser trailer that, as we mentioned, focused more on Sue in there throughout the whole story of it. I need to see more, but first impressions, I was like, yeah, that's Reed Richards.
Yeah, that was very similar to what I thought as well. You know, Pedro Pascal did change up his voice for Reed. You know who didn't? Was Ebon Moss-Bachrach as Ben
Yeah.
Grimm.
Yeah.
We did not see much of a switch up here, and my man just sounds like Cousin from the Bear, which is especially hilarious because the first time we see him, what's he doing? He's making some dinner. He's making some spaghetti. He's making the remnants of the Reed Richards spaghetti that Wanda made in Multiverse of Madness. I saw Ryan made a tweet pointing out the similarities of, oh wow, last time we saw Reed Richards was Wanda turning into spaghetti, and now the first part of the trailer is Ben Grimm making some spaghetti. But he's cooking. He sounds just like Cousin from the Bear.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't really care. I like it. I think it's fun.
Yeah, no, look, I'm actually all in favor of the non-gravelly voice for the Thing, because he is just like a guy who just happens to now be made of rocks, right? He's just a guy. That's kind of what Ben Grimm is. He's still a person. And I know I've also said that like Sue is the heartbeat of the team. Ben also has a lot of that heartbeatness as well. And I am very, very happy that he just kind of sounds like a normal dude. It's different than what we've had in the past.
I agree. And the last one, a member of the main cast, obviously, is Joseph Quinn as Johnny Storm. This was the one when they went through
actually,
the casting
before we move on, just because I didn't even mention this, look, the look of the Thing here, the visuals, the eyebrows,
the suit is incredible. First and foremost,
yes, the design is great. The sound design, as Ryan mentioned, with the Thing clapping, like you get a little bit of like the rocks kind of like clapping together. Very, very, very well done. Obviously, at this point, it is February. Movies coming out in July. They're going to do a little bit more CG work on the Thing, and I think it'll be a little bit more of an improvement, especially on like the mouth work when he talks and stuff. But it's strange. He almost looks a little practical in the way he's kind of like shown in this trailer, but I know he's not fully practical. But we've seen some of the set photos of like a quote unquote practical type of Thing. So I think that's cool. It's almost stop motion-y, but not.
I agree. It does give a very practical vibe. I'm seeing the exact same thing with you there. The last guy that I want to talk about is Johnny Storm. Joseph Quinn is the one, pardon me, the one casting that I wasn't entirely sure about. It was the one that I was like, I don't know that I necessarily see this man as Johnny Storm, but I know he's a very good actor. I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt and see how it goes. This trailer definitely started convincing me. I started seeing a lot more Johnny Storm in him here than I had in the press tour, or we haven't seen press tour, but things like the conventions when they've popped up on stage, things like that. There's no reason to not trust in Marvel's castings. They knock it out of the park pretty much every time.
Most of the time.
I'm coming around to the fact that this is our Johnny Storm now.
Yeah, this is the character we got the least out of in this whole trailer. Like, we got one little moment of Sue being like, Johnny's Johnny. He goes, huh? That was a Johnny moment? I will need to see more, but the visuals, the flame on visuals when he's flying around, fantastic. All pun intended. Fantastic.
Agreed. Couldn't agree more. But there are some other characters in here that are going to be popping up as well. We get a look at John Malkovich's character, who we don't know for sure who this is going to be, but there's just based on how he looks and a lot of rumors going around, it sounds as though this could be a character by the name of Ivan Kragoff, who is a somewhat frequent villain of the Fantastic Four. What do you know? You're the comic guy. Dive in. What do you know about this character?
Super genius, one of the smartest people. Is kind of like goes off the moniker you're going to see in a lot of Red Ghost. Super genius. His kind of thing is he has like super apes who he took with him to space, cosmic rays, and all that stuff, and they became super apes. Super genius, super apes, wild pull for a first Fantastic Four movie. I mean, we already know that Galactus is going to be in the movie. We'll talk about that in a bit. We know that the Silver Surfer, an iteration of the Silver Surfer, will be in the movie. And we kind of have some thoughts and theories. Maybe Mole Man will be in the movie as well. And Red Ghost has some affiliation with Mole Man too, which, please, that would be hilarious. Wild pull. If he is Red Ghost, wild pull.
You mentioned Silver Surfer. We did not get any look at Silver Surfer there at all. What do you think? Do you think the next trailer is going to be when we get our introduction to the Silver Surfer, or is that going to be something saved for the movie?
No, that has to be in the next trailer, because this is a teaser trailer. This is supposed to give you the vibes, the look, the feel, and the official first trailer is the one that gives you the storyline. We know that Galactus is going to be in here, and wherever there's a Galactus, there's a Silver Surfer. So you're going to need to at least see some visuals of that.
You brought up Galactus. I did not necessarily think we were going to get a look at Galactus in this trailer, but I think they wanted to go, look, we know last time you guys didn't like how Galactus looked. He was a big ass cloud. Why was Galactus a big ass cloud for Fantastic Four Rise of the Silver
Ultimate
Surfer?
Universe, TJ.
And they said, look, we're giving you the comic design. He's going to have the big ass head helmet thingy. Who is Galactus, Devourer of Worlds? What do you think of the first look of the character?
I think he's a lot smaller than I anticipated. This is a guy who, a being who eats Earths. And in that shot that we just saw, looks like maybe he'll eat the Statue of Liberty. Right? I know Galactus is also able to shrink and change sizes and stuff. Very, very possible here that we see different sizes of Galactus, and I kind of hope so. But he looks good. He looks like Galactus. He doesn't look like a cloud.
I thought he looked kind of small there as well, but he does look, the back of his head at least looks pretty darn good. This is like you brought up the deep cut that is Kragoff and Red Ghost, but Galactus is a character that we've been has been potentially looming as a major threat in the MCU, could use for a while. But first and foremost, that's a Fantastic Four villain.
Yes, no, Galactus is a Fantastic Four villain, but very much at the same time a Marvel Universe villain, Destroyer of Earth. You're not just going to have the Fantastic Four, the Devourer of Earth. You're just not going to have the Fantastic Four deal with that. And we've been wondering for a while if we'll see Galactus kind of become like the next overarching villain, the Thanos of it all. It's possible going into the next overarching phase, but I doubt it, because we both have a feeling that the next saga will be like the mutant saga. And at least we're getting Galactus here in some way, shape, and form. We also understand that this universe is not our sacred timeline. This is a different universe. So everything with Galactus can change going forward. And maybe that hopefully means this isn't the last time we see Galactus.
Yeah, I hope so as well. That's definitely a character that would be fun to pop in more. Even more than that, the Silver Surfer is somebody that I want to get more of. Specifically, Norrin Rad has always been one of my favorite Marvel characters, but Silver Surfers in general, the Herald of Galactus, whenever somebody gains the power cosmic, I get excited. The power cosmic is always something I've thought is super cool. Silver Surfer has been one of my favorite Marvel characters since I was a little kid. Now, not this iteration, but I am still very excited to see it. I love the idea that Ryan has in chat with a Galactus popcorn bucket incoming. That's a perfect popcorn bucket. Just have his big ass head be used as the popcorn bucket as well. I have one more character that I want you to give us the intro, the who the heck is this guy? And that is the cutie little Herbie.
Herbie. Who we surprisingly didn't hear Herbie's voice.
We didn't hear Herbie's voice. It's been speculated that this could be Natasha Lyonne voicing Herbie. What do you think of the look? Who is the character?
Yeah, they did say he for Herbie, but that doesn't stop anything of Natasha voicing this character. Plenty of women have voiced quote unquote male characters in animated cartoons like all the time. So it's still very possible for it to be like a computer modulated type of voice. Herbie is a fun little butler of the Fantastic Four who's created for the animated cartoons at one point because people were afraid, like the executives were afraid that if you put Johnny Storm in there, the Human Torch, that kids would want to light themselves on fire. So you still need a fourth member. And thus Herbie was created. Now Herbie has then made his way to the comics as well. And for you Marvel Rivals fans, yes, we do see Herbie on the Midtown map where you have to escort the little guy all the way over to Avengers Tower.
He looks really darn good, and I'm excited to see this character in action. Let's get to the theory portion of this, Damon, or just anything else from the trailer that stood out to you that you would want to talk about as well. The one part that did to me is Reed was talking about in the little interview thing they did. We always have family dinner Sunday at 7 p.m. Now, is he referring to Marvel's first family, the Fantastic Four? Or there's some kids that are going to show up secretly in this movie that we haven't heard about yet?
No, it's very well possible. Vanessa Kirby was asked this, I think, on GMA, and her short but sweet answer was essentially, you'll have to watch and find out. So it is very possible. If you're familiar with Secret Wars at all, Franklin Richards plays a crucial role in the conclusion, the finale of that story. Whether they go that route in the MCU or not, that's totally up to the creatives here. They very much take their own angle on things. Essentially, at the end of Secret Wars, Franklin's the one who's kind of like remaking all the universes throughout the multiverse. And if you want, you could throw Wiccan into that role just because we know he can create realities and such. The thing that I'm most interested in is the Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness of it all, as we've mentioned many times here on this podcast. There are so many multiverse MacGuffins in the MCU. How are they going to get over here? Well, there's that one shot of like fire kind of raining down on Manhattan. And I think it's very Incursion-y, not perfectly Incursion-like, but it's very Incursion-y. And that's what I'm hoping for. Do I think there will be Incursion that ends this movie? I don't know. I hope there is, because it's hard to drop something like that, and then you have Secret Wars coming up eventually, and then you just never get to that again.
We did see a shot in this trailer of Reed building a multiversal bridge.
He was on his
chalkboard. It kind of looks like Herbie's head, if I'm being honest. But it's like a blurry shot of a chalkboard with Reed trying to build a multiversal bridge. What are the odds that this movie ends with an incursion and the Fantastic Four get away and get to our main universe?
I hope so. It's been one of the things that we've been speculating on for a long time, is how are they going to get over to our universe, if ever, if at all. Who knows? Maybe the next time we see them is just in Secret Wars and they're already there and they don't come to our universe. We just kind of see them there when they all get met up at some point, either be the Beyonder kind of grabbing multiple heroes throughout all the multiverse to participate in a giant battle. I think it's interesting.
Yeah. That Beyonder figure who is going to be recruiting heroes, I still think it's going to be Loki.
I'm with you on that. I'm absolutely with you on that. There's no other figure that has that power in the MCU at this moment.
AF asking in chat, aren't they in Doomsday? Yes, Fantastic Four is, I believe, confirmed, but if not, just like heavily rumored to be in Avengers Doomsday. But I'm pretty sure Feige said that at one of the Comic Cons that they were going to straight up put them in there. We're both all aboard the Loki as the Beyonder train. Why introduce a new character when there's a character who in your universe would have similar like-ish powers, and we already know him, we already love him, and we would love to see more of that. I like this question here from the alternate timeline. Do you think we're going to see any other Marvel superheroes pop up in this retro universe?
I would like to see different variants of our classic Marvel heroes within this universe. I would like to see kind of like a 60s style Doctor Strange, similar to the look that we have in Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. I like to see that. Do I think like Spider-Man himself will show up? No. I think everyone needs to calm their expectations with anything that says Spider-Man on it in a Marvel movie. I don't know who else could possibly show up. Just trying to think out the top of my head. Maybe look, if we're talking Fantastic Four, there's different iterations of the Fantastic Four. Yes, that does include Spider-Man, but hey, let's just throw She-Hulk out there as well. Why not?
She-Hulk variant would be a lot of fun. Anything to get us more Tatiana Maslany. I definitely don't think it would happen in this movie, but at some point, I would really, really love to get Spider-Man and Human Torch in a scene together, interacting and just being the best of buddies. That would make me very happy. AF in chat, he's wondering, we talked about John, like the speculated rumor that John Malkovich could be playing the Red Ghost, but we've seen so many times this something get leaked, everyone assume it's what it is, and it'd be totally something completely different after the fact. What do you think about the theory that John Malkovich could be playing a future Franklin Richards? And then just straight up, what do you think are the odds we see Franklin and or Valeria in this movie?
The odds of seeing Franklin and or Valeria, I will put very low. I'll give it like a 20% chance. Do I think he's playing a future version of Franklin Richards? I personally hope not, because you know how I feel about time travel.
At this point, it's going to be a multiversal movie, though. So at this point, it could just be somebody coming from another universe. Do you think Franklin and or Valeria will be a big part of Secret Wars, or do you think it's going to be a Wiccan, somebody else?
I don't think Franklin and Valeria will play a big part in Secret Wars, if at all. They would need to be fully introduced at that point. They need to be proven to be big players in this universe, and as of right now, it doesn't even seem like we have kids, teens, whatever cast as those characters. I highly doubt it.
Yeah, I'm all aboard the train that we are going to need the young Avengers to assemble to go on their children's crusade, go find Wanda Maximoff, and Wanda and Billy will remake whatever universe is needed to be remade, I think is likely how we're going to get the conclusion to that.
Mm-hmm.
Will, either in a post-credit scene, a tease in the movie, will we see or have Robert Downey Jr.'s Dr. Doom referenced?
Better. At the very least, as a post-credit tease. Better. You cannot introduce Dr. Doom in a movie that is the Avengers movie, like beforehand. We need something to lead up to the big things. It's what got us all excited. You hear me almost once or twice a month complain about the post-credit sequences in Marvel movies and how they're teasing their next sequel. I think that if we are to do multiple post-credit scenes, this would be the second one, with like teasing RDJ's Doom. And it could literally just be Thanos style, him sitting in a chair, looking up, and you see the mask. That's all I would need. I would just need something to show what's coming next in all of the movies, not just what's coming next in the Fantastic Four franchise.
And as it's brought up in chat, like Doomsday is the next movie after Fantastic Four, so they do kind of have to tease something here and that. And I'm with you. Like, as even though it wasn't necessarily like the coolest or the biggest, I think the most important post-credit scene in MCU history is fine. I'll do it myself. Like that is the thing that went, okay, Thanos is the guy for the Infinity Saga that we're fearing. This is the big threat. And so I am all aboard. We need some kind of reference to Doctor Doom at the very very bare minimum least. Have Reed and Sue talking about Victor at some point in the series, into some point in the movie, something like that. But I think we got to see him. I think you can have a photo of Victor Von Doom somewhere in this movie so we can see that it's Robert Downey Jr. And then I think you end the movie with him in his mask as some kind of tease.
I don't even think this RDJ version of Doom has to be this Fantastic Four's version of Doom either.
No, I don't think that has to be the case either. But I just want to see both the face and the mask, both in this one. Face and
I never want to see his face personally, but I don't know if I'll get my wish. I don't think I'll get my wish, but I'd personally rather not have them explain why Doctor Doom looks like Iron Man, because if they do, then we're dealing with this version of Doctor Doom is an Iron Man variant type of thing.
Yeah, and I do hope that it's not any type of Iron Man variant either. But if they show his face in this movie and establish that in this universe, this is Victor Von Doom, that's how he looks. There is no Tony Stark. There is no Iron Man in this universe. Still Howard Stark is still here. And so I think that'd be cool if we saw Howard Stark in this movie. That's a possible fun little MCU cameo I could see us getting. Even if we don't see him, I could see him.
Period. Yeah. And Agent Carter then too.
Yeah, probably. Anything to throw more Peggy Carter in there.
I didn't say Captain Carter either.
You said Peggy. Yeah, and actually I would rather see it as Peggy. I think that would be a fun little addition, but I think you just established that this is how Doctor Doom looks in this universe. Last question. We did have right before we started talking. Actually, no, I don't even want to really reference that now that I'm looking at the sources for it. But do you think there'll be any mentions of we got alternate timeline and asking any mentions of Kang the Conqueror in this movie?
Maybe, possibly. At the very least, be like there's something weird going on in the Reed kind of keeping an eye on the multiverse of it all, and he's like, there's something weird going on, but it looks like it's been handled. Right, type of thing. Because I just do not see Marvel Studios they going any further back to the Kang of all. You pushed yourself away from it, and if you go back to it, could you imagine if they went back on it after pushing themselves away? It would just be a complete and utter mess. You do not need to go back to it. Ignore it. You already kind of handled it as best you could with Loki being vague about it. I do not see Kang being brought up at all, honestly.
I don't think so either. I think with the doom of it all needing to set him up and Galactus, Silver Surfer being included in this movie, I just think it would be a little too much to get Kang in there as well. I think that would be a little much. You brought up Mole Man. People have been speculating Paul Walter Hauser's character in this movie could potentially be Mole Man. Some people have speculated he is Herbie as well. Who else, what other Fantastic Four lore do you think could be included in this film? Like things like the Negative Zone, and Tony Stark has been used as like the guy who creates all the smart things in the MCU for most of the time that we've seen it, but most of like the big genius sciencey stuff in comics, it doesn't come from Tony, it doesn't come from Shuri, it comes from Reed Richards
or Hank Pym.
So
they can do a lot with it. I don't think they're ever going to go Negative Zone yet, maybe not until post Secret Wars, because we already have so much invested into the quantum realm that it would all have to go back to that. There's that one shot in this trailer of them kind of like standing on the Beatles-esque like podium, but it also is very similar to the Avengers facility where they had that big quantum tunnel there. It's very similar to that. I think there's too much invested in the quantum realm to kind of go any deeper into negative zone.
I think that makes sense as well. I could see us getting some type of quantum realm reference here when Reed is talking about his multiversal bridge and things like that. Marvin throw in a theory into chat, and I got to shout out Marvin because I was at the Captain America Brave New World press conference over the weekend, had the whole cast there, Mackie, Harrison Ford. It was really awesome. But there was also Kevin Feige, Nate Moore, Julius Ona, the director. And Marvin fired me a question. He said, hey, you should ask about the comic book inspirations for this film. Like, what is some of the source material that you're drawing inspiration from? And so I asked it, and we got an answer from Nate Moore, got an answer from Kevin Feige, got an answer from Julius Ona, and it's made its way onto the press conference. And so Kevin Feige got to hear my name for like the third time. That was pretty cool. And I got to shout out Marvin for the question. I'm going to be writing up that article sometime this week, maybe probably with your help, if I'm being honest, about some of the comic book influences behind Captain America Brave New World. You can also find my full interview with Captain America Brave New World director Julius Ona up on the Agents of Fandom YouTube page. You can also find coming soon, not yet, but coming soon, my interview with Robert Kirkman and Simon Rasiopa, the creator and showrunner for Invincible. And we got lots and lots of shows coming up this week. That's why we need you to smash the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on what we got coming, because tomorrow we're talking your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Thursday, we're talking Invincible. Friday, we're talking Severance. Saturday, we got the Comic Corner. And it's even more coming throughout the next few weeks as well. That's just February. In March, we got Daredevil Born Again. We got The Last of Us Part 2 coming. We have Andor Season 2 coming. There's Thunderbolts, Brave New World, and Fantastic Four and Superman coming all over the next few months. So make sure you're subscribed, hitting that like button, hit the notification bell, because we will be covering all of it. In addition to the interviews we've already dropped and have come in with Kirkman, Simon, and Julius Ona for Brave New World, we're also going to have some interviews for Daredevil Born Again coming. So make sure you stay tuned. Any final thoughts on this trailer before we get out of here, Damon?
I think it was a solid teaser trailer, but my favorite thing about it still is the score. I think the score is absolutely phenomenal. I really hope there wasn't AI used in those posters, although everything indicates that it was, and that puts a very sour taste to my mouth by the end of it, which is really, really, really unfortunate. My big shout here is I'm just going to say, if you're excited for Fantastic Four, this movie, everyone, I'm just going to say, go check out Ryan North's comic, Fantastic Four comic. It's on the shelves right now, and it is just fun. It's almost standalone issues every single month. There's some overarching stuff, but it's very adventure of the week. It's very classic Fantastic Four, and Ryan North just gets it.
Heck yeah, love to see it. Check it out. Speaking of comics, I got to thank you and Fat Thor and AF for being so flexible this week as we throw in an Invincible show at the same time as Comic Corner usually is. Unless we just want to go back, maybe we don't know for sure. Maybe we'll just go back to back live shows and do it all at the same time on Thursday. We're still figuring out, but I want to thank you guys for being flexible with the Comic Corner scheduling over the Invincible time. What do we have coming this week?
Oh man, this week I'm pretty sure we have Absolute Superman. I've been saying that the Absolute and the Ultimate lines of Marvel and DC Comics have been like the thing that's just been the absolute standout. It's been revitalizing. The comic shops themselves have seen it. 7 out of the top 10 comics last year sold at comic shops were either Ultimate or Absolute books. And if you're into like any alternate reality type of story, but just very well done, it's hard not to recommend it. It's just fantastic, especially Ultimate Spider-Man. It's great. So go check those out.
Check out the Comic Corner. We're not sure if it's going to be live yet, if it's going to be a Thursday, a Saturday, but we do know there's going to still be an episode of Comic Corner dropping every week in addition to all the other great shows that we have coming. So make sure you check it out. I did forget, there's one more question in chat I wanted to address that I forgot to bring up. I started talking about Marvin, but I never actually brought up his question. What do you think in a post-credit scene or something like that? Do we get a Council of Reeds? Are they going to go the Council of Reeds route? Why not? Why do you think not?
Because after this saga, after this movie, the multiverse saga ends.
And they really haven't introduced all that many multiversal people. You know what's the one post-credit scene? I mean, there's lots they haven't addressed. Shang-Chi, Thor, Love and Thunder, etc., etc., etc. Doctor Strange 2, Doctor Strange 1. But the one I want addressed more than any is, where the hell is Monica Rambeau? And is she going to come back? Can we see more of this world with who she's in right now what was the name of the version of Maria, her mother? Binary, thank you. With Beast. What other X-Men are there? The Marvels deserves more love. Where is Monica Rambeau? Where is Photon? Spectrum, whatever they're going to call her. I don't remember which one. I think it was Photon. I really want to see more of where the heck they are in this multiversal story. Have them pop back in Doomsday and Secret Wars, something like that. Let's have everyone go fight Doom in a universe, and then they get there and they realize, oh, hey, this is the one Monica's been in. And then she joins up with the team. I don't care, as long as we get to see them again. Thank you so much for joining us today, everyone. We will be back with a late evening show for your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, not at the same time as we were last week. We're going to be back at 8 p.m. Eastern time for that one, so make sure you join us. We're going to have a really fun show. We got Riley Jackson from Pop News and Collider joining us for the very first time, making the debut on the podcast. So make sure you come and hang out. 8 p.m. Eastern time, 5 p.m. Pacific, your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man covering episode 3, 4, and 5 on Wednesday. On Thursday, we're going to be talking Invincible, episode 1 and 2, the premiere, with myself, Fat Thor, Sean from Metalcore Nerds, and our friend Rachel Tollison from the Mary Sue. On Friday, we're going to be talking Severance with myself and Rachel Leishman. We got lots of great stuff coming, so make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Thank you so much for joining us today, everyone. We will see you next time. On behalf of myself and Damon, thanks for joining us. Peace.